Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at the new series of Obi Wan Kenobi, or rather the possibility of a spin-off from this spin-off. It's all getting rather meta, really, isn't it? But there's an article now in Den of Geek, which I think is quite interesting, and we'll take a look at and discuss. Okay, here we go. So here we are, and the headline: Could Star Wars Obi Wan Kenobi open the doors for new spin-offs? Well, the answer to that is technically yes, it could. Should it? Who knows? We haven't seen it yet. Will it? Possibly not. Too early to say. We don't know how good or bad Obi Wan Kenobi is going to be, because even this is showing the first picture you see is not Obi Wan Kenobi, and it's his bloody show. Anyway, Obi Wan Kenobi season 2 might not happen, but what about a spin-off Star Wars series? Obi Wan Kenobi series 2 definitely won't happen. Ewan McGregor's too big. He's come back. He's done it once. Hayden Christensen's too big. He's come back. He'll do it once. And they're only doing it because they both agreed to do it because they just fancy playing the role one last time. But to be honest, they're not going to come back and do this. And even less likely if it's as rubbish as I suspect it's going to be. Because I tell you who the star of the show is going to be, and it's not going to be Ewan McGregor. It's going to be that lady there. She will be the star. Because it's 2022, folks. Can't have a middle-aged white man saving the galaxy. Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. The Empire has tightened its grip on a helpless galaxy, and most Jedi have been exterminated. Obi-Wan and Yoda, two of the greatest heroes the galaxy have ever known, are in hiding. A lot has changed since the prequel trilogy, and none of it for the better. And this is the grim reality in which we find the weathered Jedi Master, well, it's very unkind, I think, who now lives in a cave on Tatooine, just outside the Lars homestead, where little Luke Skywalker is growing up as a moisture farmer. Not exactly the life of a former general in the Clone Wars likely envisioned for himself a decade ago. Of course, the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer has already teased that things will quickly change for our hero when the Empire arrives on the desert planet, leading to a new journey across the stars and a fateful rematch with his former apprentice, now the Dark Lord of the Sith, Darth Vader, played once again by Hayden Christensen. And we've seen enough of it to know that the story is going to be more about the Empire than it is about Obi-Wan. It's more about the Empire trying to find the Jedi rather than Obi-Wan trying to protect Luke. We don't know to the extent of which Luke will actually be in it. We know we see a few scenes, but how extensive they will be, we don't know. Uncle Lars will be there, but again, not much of him. I think his scenes will they were like almost the last to be filmed, so they'll be tagged probably as sort of headers, front and back end. So, you know, it will set it up that Obi-Wan will be, oh look, there's Luke, I'm looking after him. Something's happened. Off he goes. You'll get 4 or 5 episodes, and then you come back at the end and go, oh, there's Luke again. Yours the False. You know, and it's there. But I think those episodes when he's away being chased and all that, it will be Empire heavy. I think it'll be Obi-Wan Kenobi light. I really do. Anyway, moving back into it. Not only is this series set to reveal that Obi-Wan had adventures off-world in between his exile on Tatooine, but it'll dive into an era in the Star Wars timeline between the prequels and the original trilogy that's still generally unexplored. This means that the 6-episode series is free to add any number of things to the lore, or even change a few things, such as the previous notion that Obi-Wan and Vader never met again after their duel on Mustafar until the events of A New Hope. Well, it was never stated categorically that that was the last time. So yes, you can technically say that there was something else. After all, Vader's only comment was, a feeling I haven't felt, or I haven't felt that presence since, then turns and swirls and saunters off. So he didn't say it was on Mustafar. He didn't say where it was. But, it could be anywhere. Since the series also takes place 9 years before the original Star Wars film, it isn't actually in any real danger of brushing up against events George Lucas set in stone in 1977. That is, as long as director Deborah Chow and writer Joby Harold are careful. Yeah, but we know how they like to revise and change and wokeify things. So, you're going to end up with things that are going to grate. I just know they're going to grate. You're going to go, no, 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 no. Because they've brought in strange characters and they're going to change this and change that. And, it's going to be... it's going to be cringe. I think it's going to be cringe. Anyway. It was definitely something we were very mindful of, Chow told EW, of the challenges of fleshing out some of Obi-Wan's previously unseen history. Yes, I bet he ends up being gay. And for me, also taking on George Lucas's legacy. It's an honour to take these characters and be able to tell a new story with them. So I wanted to be very respectful to what exists and not change anything that George intended originally or anything like that. Yeah, you say the words, but you don't mean the words. She also teased that obviously something happened in these 20 years, and there are some things from our series that there's going to be a little bit more room for interpretation on. Okay, so he is going to be gay. So it's possible that Vader and Old Ben's final meeting on the Death Star could be recontextualised 45 years later. Yes, recontextualised. They're gay, aren't they? When they talk about recontextualising, they mean changing the things that everyone has loved for the previous 45 years. Because we're not allowed to love those things anymore. Obi Wan Kenobi's place on the timeline, it's going to be a woke mess. I can just see it now. That line alone has convinced me that Obi Wan Kenobi is going to be a complete and utter dog's breakfast and a fail. And there's going to be a lot of YouTubers out there making merry on this because it will be the boat that launched 1,000 videos. Anyway, Obi-Wan Kenobi's place on the timeline opens up an even bigger question beyond retcons. Since it has such a long runway to work with, before the events of Rogue One and A New Hope, that must come to pass. Obi-Wan Kenobi could be ripe for Season 2 and more, but is it a continuation beyond the upcoming 6 episodes in the cards? No, because as I say, those two are too big and no. We really did conceive this like a beginning, a middle and an end. It's one big story and was always meant to be. And that's her way of saying we couldn't get them back for Series 2, so we're just going to play it as though it was only ever meant to be one series. In other words, it doesn't sound like Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 is on the docket, but Chow also hints that you should never say never. Yeah, you really can. You can say never this time. There'll never be a Series 2. I'll call that. Call it now. I'm not too sure how many people will see all of Series 1, to be honest. But if another series were to happen, she said, it would be a very same process of making sure there was a real story to tell. Ours is obviously very connected with the prequels, but I love the idea that there can be more stories over the timeline. Yeah, there won't be, though. Because you're going to screw this up so badly and alienate your dwindling fans over the course of 6 episodes. If not a direct continuation of Obi Wan Kenobi, could more stories arrive in the form of spin-off shows starring other characters introduced in the limited series? Well, it wouldn't be unprecedented. After The Mandalorian became a huge early success for Disney, Lucasfilm seeded several spin-offs in the show's second season, including this year's The Book of Boba Fett and next year's Ahsoka. The Book of Boba Fett sucked and blew. Ahsoka has the possibility of being good. Don't cock it up. There was even a third companion show planned, but Rangers of the New Republic was reportedly put on hiatus after Cara Dune actress Gina Carano was fired from the franchise for not being a woke, agenda-driven, lefty, liberal, kiss the ring of Catherine Kennedy moron. She wasn't like that at all. She was a strong, independent woman who don't need no man, and that frightened Kennedy, who wants to push strong, independent women until she actually meets one, and then is scared of them. Gina Carano was mighty fine, let me tell you. Anyway, getting back. Beyond the flagship show's viewership numbers and social buzz, what made such a big expansion of the Mandalorian verse possible? It takes place at another largely unexplored point in the Star Wars timeline, set 5 years after Return of the Jedi and decades before the sequels. This means there's a lot of space to plug in the new shows, lore and big galactic events without treading on the films. It's also the fact that it was made with love, respected the source material, was very close to George Lucas's vision, and didn't have Kathleen Kennedy's hands anywhere near it. The 19-year period between the prequels and the original trilogy means Obi Wan Kenobi could do the same. If Ewan McGregor's time as Jedi Master is over after this adventure, what's to say the larger story of this era won't continue across other shows? Well, nothing, but you just won't get Obi Wan back because Ewan McGregor won't do it. Obi Wan Kenobi will introduce a new villain named Reva, Moses Ingram, a member of a faction of Jedi hunters known as the Inquisitorius. She's so prominent in the trailer and stills released thus far to imply that she's a major part of the show. She's the star of the show. It will be her. This whole story is all about her, not Obi-Wan. Do not kid yourself. A new character Lucasfilm is clearly invested in, the kind of lightsaber wielder that could be such a popular addition to the canon that a spin-off would be a no-brainer. But wouldn't be popular though, because she'll have stolen the thunder of Obi-Wan in his own show. And who knows what other new and returning characters could be introduced in the series before jumping into their own shows, like Boba Fett did in The Mandalorian Season 2. But that wasn't a really good example, was it? Because Boba Fett was rubbish. Rupert Friend, who plays the intimidating Grand Inquisitor, recently teased the cameos to come, and Chow echoed this with Total Film. Obi-Wan's going on a journey, Chow said. There's going to be different people that come into his life. One of the things I was trying to do with the series was to have the legacy and who is important in Obi-Wan's life. Well, there's only one person important in Obi-Wan's life. Two, if you count Vader. This is all speculation, of course, but the franchise expansion and interconnected storytelling has long become part of the big Disney playbook, and it has proved to be a spectacular fail, where you get one or maybe two shows out of 10 where it sticks, and the rest of them are utter horse. Well, we're getting ahead of ourselves, it says, and it just tells you that it premieres on May the 27th, but we all knew that anyway, 2 days after it was supposed to, because they don't want two failures, this and Ms. Marvel, on the same day. And also it's going up on the same day, it's going up against season 4 of Strange Things. We all know what one we're going to be watching, Strange Things. Anyway, I'll round that off, come up, and we'll finish the video. And I think that article has finally given the proof, if needed, that Obi Wan Kenobi is probably not going to be any good. One key word in there: recontextualize. That's the key word. That is the word that says we're going to take everything you love and we're going to destroy it, burn it, crumble it to dust, and throw that dust out in the trash. They're going to instead give us a huge steaming turd. And it's a saying I use where you can't polish a turd. No, but you can roll it in glitter. And that's what they're attempting to do. This won't be an Obi-Wan show. This will be anyone other than Obi-Wan show. It will be woke. It's going to change the law, despite what they say. And I know now that my initial thought was that it's going to be rubbish. It looks like I'm going to be right. I mean, I was holding out against hope, desperate that it would be good. But then the clues started coming in. They're not putting it out on the same day as Ms. Marvel. They're putting 2 episodes out at once instead of 1. They know it's going to fail. It's going to crash and burn. And that's ultimately really, really sad. It's like Moon Knight. First episode, I actually quite enjoyed. I knew it was going to be rubbish, but I quite enjoyed the first episode. Second episode was watchable. Third episode, I fell asleep. Episode 4's out now. You know what? Don't care. I've stopped watching it. It's gone. It's dead. And that's what's going to happen here. Anyway, I know. I mean, still hope I'm wrong, but it's just more and more likely that I'm not. Still, I shall round off now. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell for notifications of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, and goodbye.